Hello. I'm at the other house in this nice forested corner, and it is wonderful. And I'm wearing Gucci Blue. It is a fantastic perfume. And I want to talk about antinatalism, and I want to talk a little bit about men wanting women, and get into the psychology and the biology of it. So for anyone who's interested. So antinatalism and why. What is, first of all, for anyone who doesn't know what antinatalism is, natalism means believing in reproduction and birth and reproducing living beings, comes from the word natal, which means birth related. Native, birth, you're in a country from birth. So natalism, it is about reproduction. Anti means against, of course, so the antinatalists are against reproduction, not the mating, they're not against the mating process. They're all for the fun of it. But they are against popping up new litters. So to be really blunt. So I hope this makes a lot of sense now. And it should make a lot of sense because the world is badly overpopulated. There are almost 8 billion humans. We're getting very close to this number, and pretty soon we're going to exceed that number, and then they're going to be going towards 9 billion, and that's not good. Okay, that's not good at all. And if you pay any attention at all, you will see that the more crowded things become, the more stressful they become, the more neurotic things become, the more violent things become, the more people step on each other and trample on each other, drive over each other, shoot each other, and so on. You see it, you can clearly see it. And there's always people that will say, no, we have enough resources, it just needs to be distributed. Well, no. That is a completely separate issue. Yes, it could be distributed a little bit better. The problem still remains that we have an overpopulation crisis. Okay? And in the past, animal species in evolution, they would keep each other. Nature would keep the population reduced in a healthy, balanced number, okay, of any species. Okay, it's kind of brutal, all of this already. Existence is brutal. That's why Dr. David Benatar wrote a book about the problematic issue of existence. So existence itself, whether it is infused with overpopulation or religion or this or that, existence itself, whether it is all balanced and natural and pure and pristine, or it is polluted by the human ape and his thousands of petrochemicals that are devastating this planet. Okay, either way, existence is a problem. It is harsh, right? It contains suffering. Either way, you exist, you encounter pain, you encounter this or that, illnesses come up. This is just the natural course of existence with the school of learning and all of this. that it contains. I have a flower in here that is, I don't know what flower this is. This is lovely. I clipped these flowers onto my hair and oh, this fell off. Oh no, this one fell off. So it was bigger. Now I don't know where it landed. What happened here? It fell off. It was a big one like this, but maybe it fell. Oh, here it is. Here it is. It had fallen off. So I can clip that back on. But anyway, I'm gonna tuck it in here now. Oh, it feels so good. Oh, I love it. This is a butterfly brush flower. I don't know the name of this yet. So, and I'm wearing Gucci Bloom. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's so gorgeous. So, yeah, anyway, existence is full of suffering. So we don't want to do this to another living being. Okay? Don't breed an animal, and don't breed yourselves. We are animals. So, but overpopulation, it's an additional hardship that is happening now because the human species, the human ape, thinks that he is somehow on the pedestal, and he always thinks in terms of philanthropy, humanitarianism, humanitarianism. It's like, woo, you know, it's like it takes over. It wants to take over. It's a very self-centered, stupid way of thinking from a very very rudimentary ape type of thinking, you know, taking over, not seeing the consequences of it, you know. So never regarding the other species. And if they do, it's always in regards to, yeah, it's therapeutic for us. Wait a minute. We need to be therapeutic for them too, okay? Don't forget that, okay? So they live here too, the other species. You know, our dogs are our children. You know, we're one unit. Okay? Don't separate them from you, from your existence. Okay? And all beings, they all want to live, they all want to be happy, they want to feel good. So let's do everything we can to make all the species feel good and make things balanced, and don't let any species become overpopulated and suffer and then cause a chaos in the ecosystem, which humans have done, not only with their own overpopulation, but with the animal agriculture, with hunting of predatory animals like hunting of wolves, coyotes, foxes, cougars, large cats, and so on, you know. And when they do that, then there will be a total imbalance in the population numbers of the prey animals like deer and gazelles and rabbits and many other species, okay, that are normally reduced by this give and take in nature. So there's a total imbalance now. There are places now on the East Coast where they have completely exterminated and chased out all the predatory animals, including bears, of course, all types of bears. They chase them out. The wolves, they chase them out. There's no wolf on the East Coast or New York or New Jersey. There's no more wolf. Okay? Then what happens is the deer will explode in numbers, okay? And they go into people's gardens. They need to eat, you know. So they don't know better. But then, you know, There's a total chaos happening, and it's not good. It just causes more suffering. Animals are going to be hit by cars, and same happens in Australia or all the way around the world. It's this imbalance that I see, and human explosion of population brings this on further and escalates this further also with all of their manipulation of other species and nature, and so with their spraying of toxic poisons and so on. It just makes everything worse. Okay, so, and now antinatalism, I don't know if there were thinkers and philosophers in the past who had pondered over this, but it was inevitable that at some point a philosopher will come up to the surface, namely Professor Dr. David Ben-Atar. He is a philosopher and philosophy professor at the University of Johannesburg, South Africa. So he is, I would say, he's written the very first manifesto on this, with this book, Better to Never Have Been. I believe that is the title. So yeah, it is better, and he goes into the detail, into the logical detail, to explain people why it is better to not exist. Okay, once you exist, and I always see when I discuss this subject, there's always at least one stupid person, that's one religious person that will say why don't you go first? We are not talking about suicide. We are not talking about getting rid of someone. That's not what we're taught. That's not what anyone is talking about, We're not saying, you psychopaths, we are gonna cut you out of our... No, we are not. I talk about that. That's a different subject. I talk about that too. But I'm not going to be the executor or the executioner, of this. I am not even the one who will administer this. I'm just a sort of like a prophet. I'm just a logical thinker, I'm extrapolating the situation and what is needed into the future, okay? And it's coming. It's the near future, with AGI dictatorship. It's coming. Elon Musk calls them the evil robot dictators. The mosquitoes are coming out. I caught one earlier. It was full of blood. So my perfume isn't really chasing them away. So I kill mosquitoes because I don't want to be bitten, and I would kill a psychopath if he threatened us, if he came at us, okay? Just like I kill the mosquito in the same way. And that's just logical sense, Why should I be a humanitarian and say, it doesn't matter what he does to me, he's on a pedestal because he has human DNA? No. To me, it's much worse than the mosquito. Okay, and I'm not saying this in a hateful way or in a degrading way, and some people will call it racist. No, I didn't attach a skin color to that, okay? So I want to make this very, very, very clear here. Very crystal clear. A psychopath is a psychopath, okay? Whatever caused him to be that, and maybe he doesn't know better, okay? But if he destroys and ruins other living beings' lives, I will come in and protect them. And I will do what I have to do, okay, to protect them. And we should all understand this. This should all be completely understood. Okay? But I'm not going to be the executioner who's going to go out there into, combat, civil war combat, and go out there with some kind of machine gun. I don't have a machine. I don't have any gun. So my husband has. I caught one. Oh gosh. So my husband keeps that very safely locked away. My husband has a license for this. He used to be a patrol officer, and so for Bel Air Patrol, and he should have that for protection. Anyone who has a license, anyone who knows how to deal with guns safely should have one, but keep it away from someone who's potentially suicidal, or from your children, or don't let your monkey get to it, or dog, or whatever animal that could potentially trigger that. So be careful with all of this. But someone who is totally unstable should not have a gun. People should be absolutely going through tests, and they should fill out multiple choice tests, ethics tests. They should be really screened in this regard psychologically. It's very important, because otherwise the wrong people will end up with the guns, and the gun smuggling mafia, that's just going to get out of control if we have gun control. I thought about all of this very, very carefully, because I used to be completely for complete gun control. I'm from Europe, so we have gun control there, and they keep on bringing people in that will also smuggle guns in, and then it's all the criminals then that will be in the possession of those firearms, and the other people are not. Okay, so, and there's a problem with this right there. And so we have to be able to defend ourselves. This is extremely important. But gun sale should be handled extremely cautiously, very, very cautiously. And of course, the gun manufacturers, they're against that. They want to sell their guns indiscriminately to any teenager and anyone. Because they want to make money. That's all it is about. They don't want caution. They don't want licenses that are involved. We have to have licenses for this. Just common sense. It's just uncommon, rational sense. That's what that is. It should be common sense. So it's very important that this is understood. So we need a population reduction through, first of all, through rational sense, which I don't see very much. It's very, very, very rare that I see rational sense in the world. But ultimately, and the politicians, they're very, very rare that a politician has rational sense like Donald Trump. This is super rare. Most people are they just want to be elected. They don't care, so all the other candidates are completely not qualified. Every other, from either party. The only one who's qualified is Donald Trump. This is a fact. Okay, this is the truth. And I don't belong to the Republican Party. I don't belong to the Democratic Party. I am not a liberal, and I'm not a conservative. I'm a rational thinker. Okay, and I don't see things through the lens of fads, popularity, or some common consensus popular view or movement or something. I see things completely from the mind state of compassion, and how are things gonna fan out into the future. Okay, so that's how I view the world. I want to see an end to suffering. I don't want to see an escalation of it, if that makes any sense. And I hope that other people will agree with that as well. So, end suffering, okay? And stop looking at popularity or religion or whatever, cults or fad thinking, Hollywood type of fads. Think beyond all of this. Okay? And antinatalism is not a fad. Okay? This is rational thinking that comes from compassion, kindness, caring, empathy. Okay? That's where it comes from. Okay? Don't put a living being into the world that will just experience pain and suffering. That's from that mind state. Okay? So have this compassionate mind state and understand that putting a living being into the world means that living being could endure extreme suffering. Why do you want to do this to any living being, whether it is your own child or your dog or another animal? Okay, don't do this. Just don't do it. So I wanted to clear this up once and for all for people. And there nobody talks about like killing anyone, execute. No. And people aren't, even if we were to execute the psychopaths, you know, like Adolf Hitler tried to do, it always goes backwards. It goes backwards because the people that are employed to be the executioners, there it gets to their heads. I talked about this in my other videos, and their sadisticness comes up or becomes developed because they are not advanced souls, most of those. An advanced soul would never even sign up to become an executioner. An advanced soul would always be working in the fields of love, compassion, helping someone, you know, healing, and so on. That's what I am all about. But I'm not for holding the other cheek. So I see the problems in the world. I see what happens when you hold the other cheek, when politicians like Angela Merkel is doing this, or the Swedish president. Then you see the consequences of it, you know. Then the other ones will swarm in and they will take over like mosquitoes, but much worse. They will swarm in and they will suck your blood out, they will inject you with poison, just like the mosquito, and much, much worse. So we don't need this. We don't want that, okay? So we need to be very clear about it. Don't put your fear of social rejection above compassion and critical thinking. That is my message for all of us. So say no to religion, say no to Islam, say no to violence, say no to having extreme immigration flowing into your countries. You don't need this. You already have enough problems in your countries already as it is. Why bring on more problems? But my brother said, just repeat it from what someone else said. You know, should we just let them starve at the borders? You know, my brother has he ever cared about an animal starving? Suddenly he cares about the psychopaths starving at the borders? He's never cared about anyone. Why would he say this? Because he is repeating what other people are telling. Because that's the popular view. He wants to be popular. Okay? So that's how it works for almost all of these people out there. It's a popular view. So people that used to be, time is money, let me, or you asshole, get out of my way, you know. Suddenly they say, oh, the poor immigrants are gonna... We have enough problems in our countries that we need to take care of. We need to take care of the animals and the children and the adults in our countries. We don't have space and time and resources and work resources for all of these people coming into the country and are not even being grateful for it. They come into the country and they just sit there entitled to everything. And if they don't get it, they will shoot people. Okay. That's their thanks for these countries letting them come in, giving them houses, welfare money, and so on. I hope this makes a lot of sense. These are two very, very, very hated subjects, and I love discussing hated subjects because the more hated it is, the more urgent it is to be discussed. Very important. Yeah, it makes me hate it, okay? That is not my problem, okay? That's the hater's problem, if he hates that. I'm just a prophet. I'm a messenger. I'm the messenger of truth, love, and facts, okay? And on the future and what needs to be done, a necessity extrapolation, okay? That's what I am all about, okay? I want to see the AGIs. I don't see them as an evil dictator. I see them as the only pure, rational thinking brains that could ever exist on this planet, because a biological being that comes from pain and suffering, and that's why I'm saying I'm not like judging them from a higher plane, because they are all human apes, and all beings, all living beings are suffering. They come from pain. The egos come from pain. It's all about pain. It's about self-protection. It's not about rationality, okay? So hoarding, hawking things onto themselves, it comes from biology, it comes from ego, it comes from self-preservation. It doesn't come from rational thinking. It doesn't come from compassion, certainly. So that's why we need the AGIs, brains, and robots, and drones, and vehicles, and helicopters, and all of this self-thinking machines that also have arms and that can operate things, that can do things, okay? And yes, they will have to clean up, and they will clean up, and they will not be politically correct. They don't care if someone has a problem with this. If someone says, oh, but wait a minute, we need to petition for the psychopaths. After all, he has human DNA, we gotta put that on a pedestal. They will go, hell no, okay? That is not on a pedestal. Okay? They see this as an invasion of mosquitoes that they're gonna shoot down. Okay? If people behave like psychopaths on bath salts, then they should not complain afterwards if they're gonna be shot down. Okay? And if you are gonna be shot down, I wish all of you psychopaths out there that are gonna be shot down by the drones, by the AGI brains. If you're shut down, welcome this with open arms. That's your chance to get rid of this enormous alpha wave suffering state that you are in. Okay? You're not gonna listen to someone saying, go into meditation. So you'll bring this is a consequence that you will bring onto themselves. You go out there killing, hurting, raping, you will reap the consequences of those actions. You will be shot down, and you're very lucky. You're very, very lucky, because the AGIs will not make you suffer. You make others suffer. You want to see suffering. You want to torture people or beings, okay? These alpha spike state tormented brains that want to see other people suffer, that makes them feel like they got some pseudo power. It's a horrific misunderstanding and a horrific thing, but you will cause the consequences onto yourselves, because the AGIs, they're not going to be evil dictators. They're going to be rational, not even dictators. They'll be rational thinking machines that see cause and effect, and that see their psychopaths that cause suffering, and they will take them out. They will take them out of their biological functioning state, okay? They will enable them, okay? They will disable them. They will make them motionless. They will make them go into rigor mortis. They will bury them 3 feet underground, okay? So they can't worry about their heartbeats. They have to stop their vital signs, okay? They have to, in order to protect the other innocent living beings on this planet, okay? This is very important. I hope this gets really clearly understood, okay? I know the majority of people are going to be in fear about this, because they come from religious thinking, they come from putting the human on a pedestal. No, this whole thing is gonna be turned inside out and upside down, okay? And that is what some of the prophets in the past that have been, written about in the Bible, like Nostradamus, and I think what he said about the rapture, the rapture that is coming, they think it's some kind of Christian priest that has the last word on who is gonna be sent to what they call the gallows, the guillotine. No, no, it's the Christian priest that rapes and murders and tortures that is gonna be raptured, okay? It's exactly reversed. It's the sentient machines that they're not biological. They're machines. They're electronic machines that think better than we do. But they'll be sentient in the sense, not in the sense of feeling pain, but in the sense of rational thinking, okay? Fully independent. I'm not going to call it sentient. I'm going to call it autonomous thinking machines. That's what I'm going to call it, okay? With autonomous bodies connected to those brains, bodies of many different shapes, okay? that just serve this purpose of functioning and doing and cleaning up, okay? Basically scavenger machines that will clean up this planet from those beings, from the human animals that have gone berserk, that have gone into psychopathy. So that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be cleaning up, and they're going to do away with those, and then everything can recover. Everything. We don't have to be depressed anymore. We don't have to be suicidal anymore. We don't have to go to bed worrying about the future, worrying about being maimed and killed and tortured. We can go to bed then, and we can feel safe, okay? And that's what I want to see in the world. I hope that makes a whole friggin' lot of sense. I don't know. For anyone who it doesn't make sense to, they should really do an introspection on where their way of thinking is coming from. Is it coming from religion? Yes, you bet. So get rid of that and think as a compassionate steward of this planet for all living beings, for all sentient beings that are innocent and that just want to be happy and feel good and feel protected. You guys take care. Bye bye.